Hey guys, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can create a parametric tower using Rhino and Grasshopper by giving a side boundary and a tower shape as an input and control the height of the floor and number of floors. This is fully parametric and I hope it is very helpful. Let's begin. So what we will do, let's say this is a side boundary, and with the setback, let's offset the side boundary and extrude this. This might be the ground floor. On top of this, let's try to place the tower and extrude this and rotate it. Let's go ahead and create a square. So bring in the curve component. Let me bring in bifocals. Now right click, set one curve, select the curve. Now let's offset the curve. Connect this, and as a distance, let's say 5 units. It's going outside, so let's go negative. Let's say minus 10 to plus 10, let's say minus 7. Okay, this is 7 meter setback, let's say. Okay, now extrude this. So we need a Z vector. Let's group this. Let's say 8 meter. Okay. Now cap holes. Let me switch this off. Switch this off as well. Now let's deconstruct the bearer. And we want the top surface. So let's go list item. Connect the faces. So we'll increase the number of index. Okay, let's create a surface component. Connect this. I think this is the bottom surface. Okay, this is the top surface. So switch this off and we turn this on. So we have a ground floor ready. Now what we will do, on top of this, let's put the tower. So let's evaluate the surface to get the center point. Okay, connect the surface. We want the center point here. So let's say this is, we want it here. So let's say this is 0 and 1. Okay, and 1 and 0. So this will be 0.5. Okay. So to do that, let's bring in MD slider. So that by default it comes with 0.5 by 0.5. So connect this. Now the vector is here. So we need to reparametrize. So right click, reparametrize. So it will become the center point. So this whole surface has become 0 and 1. Now we will put an ellipse here and extrude this. Group this. Let's bring an ellipse. Connect the point here. Now let's give ellipse value, let's say 15 as a radius 1. Let me move it aside. Connect this. Connect this. Increase the second radius. Let's say 29. We'll increase this as well. Okay. So we have the base curve ready. Group this. Now we will move this up. So bring in the move component. Connect the geometry. Now we need to move it with respect to number of typical floors. So let's say this is a ground floor. Let me call this as a ground floor. Okay, now let's say typical floor plan is typical floor height is 3.5 meter and number of floors is 25. Now bring in duplicate data. Connect this data. Connect the number of. So it gives you duplicates 25 times at the interval of 3.5 meter. Now call this as a typical floor. We'll do one more thing. Let's say we will also have a penthouse. Okay, so copy this. Let's duplicate this. Call this as penthouse. Okay, number of floors we may need only 2 or something. Okay, we will also increase the floor height as 6 meters. Now we will connect these values. So there is 25 here and there is 2 here. So we will connect them onto merge component. Connect these. It gives you 27 values. So right click and flatten this. So it gives you 25 values. Now this one we need to give it here. Okay, so Z vector. Let's try to connect through mass addition. So if you connect this merged value and this output, see, so if you go ahead and increase number of floors, so you'll automatically increase. If you go ahead and increase the floor height as well, okay, so now this is working. Now let's group this. Now we need to rotate this. So bring in the rotate component, connect the geometry. So we need a center point. So bring in the area component, connect the centroid. So it has come here. Now we need an angle. Okay, so we want to rotate each one of them. So bring in the series component. We don't need a start point. We need number of steps. So each curve will be this length. (46) of them. So 44 plus 2, 46 of them. This is the number count, and each one of them will be rotated 3 units. Okay. Group this. Now this one we will connect it into angle, but we need to convert it as a radians. See, now let me go ahead and switch this off. Okay. See, it is rotated. So if we go ahead and change the number of floors, it will automatically do it. And if you go ahead and change the radius of the ellipse, so it's beautiful. So it's fully parametric now. Let me change it to rendered. So what we will do, let's group this. Now let's create slab thickness. Okay. Let's say 0.3. And we need to extrude this. Extrude, connect the geometry, Z vector, connect it here. Now it is extruding up. So let's say evaluate, delete the Y expression. Let's say this is X value, connect this here. And let's give as a formula X times minus 1. So this will be minus 0.6. So if you adjust the value, so it will automatically extrude. So this is the slab thickness. Now let's say cap holes. So it's capping. We don't want the top one to be slab. Okay. So let's remove this. Let's create cull index. Connect the component here. Now bring in the index value. Let's say 0. That's the first component. I think this is the base. Okay, just go ahead and reverse this. Okay. So this is done. Group it. Now let's add curtain wall. Let's create a scale component, connect the geometry here, center point here. So it's scaling as 0.5, let's say 0.8. Connect the scale factor. Okay, so now you have, so now we need to project this, we need to extrude this to the bottom of the slab. Okay, so let's create divisions as well. Create a divide curve. At the moment it is dividing into 10 numbers, I think. Yes, let's create 50 points. Okay, now group this and group this as well. Now convert this as a polyline. Switch it off. Now if you look at it, it is not a closed curve, so we just have to give a boolean toggle as true, connect it. Now it's connected. Now let's extrude this curve, polyline, okay, to a z value. So z vector, connect this here. So by default it has 1 unit. We need to extrude this minus this, meaning typical floor minus slab thickness. So bring in a subtraction component, this minus typical floor height. That will give you what height to be. So every time you control this, so automatically it will give you the output height. Okay, now bring this in. And connect it to the z vector. That's it. So it's connected. Okay, so now we have a different height values here. We will deal with it. Bring in the cull index. We don't want the top portion, so 0. Let's say make this here. So now you see, if you see, it is duplicating. So right click, we have 61 polylines, but output is giving you 3000 something. So let's come back and flatten this. Okay, now if you check it, okay, 62. Okay, so if you go ahead and increase typical floors and number of floors, so it will automatically adjust it. Even if you increase the slab thickness, so it will automatically change. So it's all working. Now we don't want the top portion. Okay. We'll go back and cull. So input this. Now cull index, maybe we'll just say 0. Okay, so because it has two different curves, it's taking from the reverse this, and even the output also reverse it. It will work. Now it is working. Okay. Switch off the preview. Switch off the preview. Even this polyline also, let's switch it off. So now you have the tower. Okay, so if you go ahead and play with shape of the tower, so let's group this, switch it off, preview off. Now let's say let's have a handrail here. So copy the whole thing. It's the same principle. Okay. We will come back to the scale factor and maybe let's increase it to point. Let's make it as 2 digits, 0.96. Now we don't need the height to be controlled as the height of the floor. We will have to have an independent value. So let's say 1.2. Okay, so you can see now it is 1.2. Okay, this is not 0.94, let's say. Okay, now maybe let's 0.98. Okay. Now to the group, preview off. So we have the handrail, we have the curtain wall, preview off. So if we go ahead and play with number of floors, floor height, penthouse height, number of floors of the penthouse, fully parametric, everything is working perfectly. That's it. Okay, now the issue here, this is not picking the first point. Go ahead and add a 0 index. Now reconnect these data into this merge component. That's it. See, it's working fully. So go ahead and bake this. Go ahead and bake this. Go ahead and bake the curtain wall. Go ahead and bake. See? Okay. Go ahead and bake this as well. See? That's it, guys. I hope this was really helpful. If you like this video, I would appreciate if you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. That would give me a motivation to do more videos, and if you specifically want to know any tricks, kindly do let me know in the comments below. I will try my best to make a video. Thanks for watching.